to Heal with Us, where we aim to inspire, strengthen, and empower.
Now let's begin to heal.
Hey, y'all, I'm Toya, and I'll be investigating the business of everyday people like you and I. This is Dr. Nikkisha. She'll be checking in your heart. And that's Tam. She'll be enlightening you with fun facts you didn't even know you needed. Now that you met us, let's get in your business. All right, so today I wanted to kind of talk about the letting yourself go scenario, I guess, that people kind of say. Do you recall a time when you looked at yourself and just thought, what happened to me?
Would you like me to go first?
It doesn't matter. Sure.
I think that most people, I don't know, I can't speak for most people, but I think many of us experience that, especially being a mother and having a child. I definitely can recall feeling like what happened to my body, just being a little impatient with that process of getting back to, your normal self. And also, not just that, but we talked about before in another episode, just becoming a woman of maturity. Okay. And, your body changes, things don't quite pop back the way they used to. So sometimes, it can be a little frustrating. And I find for me, I don't know about you ladies, but it's more challenging to fix the habits. Like I will try to start things, and I feel like now at this point, maybe because I'm a lot more set in some ways, it takes a lot more effort to reverse some of that habit. So yeah, definitely.
Okay. Can you repeat the question? Yes. Do you recall a time when you looked at yourself and thought, what happened to me?
I would not say physically, I would say mentally. Because life be lifing, and sometimes your brain it's overworked, and things that used to come natural to you, or for an example, like I would like to do puzzles, I like to do word puzzles, and I was quick with it, like, oh, okay, oh, now it's like I'm sitting there like, what? Huh? And it's something that I know, but it's just the mind. It just it's not flexible anymore. I think my mind has arthritis. Yeah.
All right. So I think for me, the same thing. Like it's probably like multiple periods in life. Sometimes it can be like the way you feel like your physical appearance is, or I used to do A, B, and C, and now I don't do A, B, C anymore. But I don't know. I think it can be overwhelming if you focus on the past and compare it to now versus if you just live in the moment. None of that. You wouldn't even be comparing it or thinking like.
Well, we're talking about me. I can lose myself in the moment.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Okay.
I can.
Yeah. Okay.
And it depends on the subject matter that's taking place at that time. So I can elaborate.
And I was going to say, for example.
So, for example, if I'm at a party and I really don't want to be at that party because I'm extremely introverted, I could lose myself in what I would rather be doing at this moment.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. To the point where someone's at the party talking to me and it's like, Dama, hello. Oh, yeah. Yes. So I can lose myself in a moment.
Okay, so I think for me, I try not to like dwell on negative stuff, even if I'm comparing it kind of like, well, I used to, or I wish I could still, or I try to like replace it with, but I couldn't do, and now I can, to kind of help me get out of that funk of, the wish I was this or used to be that scenario.
That's interesting.
What kinds of ways do you pull yourself out of that feeling of just like losing yourself?
I mean, it can be very challenging for me because I can go down a rabbit hole real quick. But I think for me, really, it's honestly just an experience. Just knowing that, okay, if I take this route of thinking or behaving, this is where I'm gonna end up. So knowing I don't have time for that. So let me just revert and go ahead and skip past all of that and get to what I desire. So I think age has helped with a lot of just recognizing that there's some things I have no control over, and then some things what I can control, I'll just, be patient with myself and get there.
Yeah. For me, I think when I'm feeling that mental, like I'm just mentally, my brain, and I'm just losing oneself, fresh air. Like whether I go for a drive with the windows down or go for a walk, that tends to help a lot. To just kind of clear out all the inside air that I've been breathing. That's not good because, you need fresh air, so get the blood moving and circulating, and that kind of helps clear up the fogginess in your brain. So that does it for me.
I've never really liked when somebody says to you, like, you're letting yourself go, or you might even feel like you're letting yourself go.
Say that to you?
People do say that,
Really
like you letting yourself go, girl.
Oh.
But I feel like once you are realizing it,
they don't say that around me.
That's
all I'm gonna say.
They don't. But I think once you realize that it's happening, like you feel like you're letting yourself go, you are already moving on to the next level of yourself anyway. So you never really are, letting yourself go. If people feel like that, you're like finding yourself in those moments.
Yeah, that's good.
Okay. Well, remember, the present is a gift. No matter where you are in life, you can make it what you want, and you can choose happiness. Thank you for letting me get in your business.
In your business.
Of course. Blessings, blessings. It's Dr. Nikkisha Bell-Griffin. How's your heart? Come on in with us. Let's continue this conversation. So I kind of want to piggyback on Toya talking about letting yourself go, but then I want to do a positive spin on it because, like you said, a lot of times negative connotations come with that. And I just think it's very, what's the word? Like for somebody to actually say that to another person, like, how dare you? It's one thing for us to recognize it ourselves, but I think if I'm being an honest friend or sister or what have you, and I notice that you are in a really bad place as far as just taking care of yourself and loving on yourself and things like that, then there's a way to go about it, so I might just pull you out, and let's go hang out, or let's do something that I know typically you love to do, or, that brings a smile on your face or puts you in a better space. But I can never see myself just telling somebody, oh, girl, you let yourself go. Like, that's very insensitive. But I do, when I think of letting yourself go or letting myself go, I think about it's a management piece. For me, when I think about that, and y'all can, of course, add in your insight, it's how we manage ourselves. So if I feel like I'm letting myself go, somewhere in my life, I've lost control of me. I've lost control of what I thought was me, and I'm unable to manage whether it's my emotions, my thoughts, something is off. That's how I look at it. And to me, it's just my life, my spirit telling me I need to recenter. So I think it's very important to just recognize when you feel like it's gotten so far that you don't even know who you are anymore. Because there are stages in our life where we need to let certain things about ourselves go, and it doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel good. Sometimes you don't even know what's happening. But if it's to a point where you're feeling like you're in a depressive state or, an anxious state, or it's just like, that you're going into a dark spot, I think that's when you need to really recognize, okay, I need to shift or get help or something. And I personally, I have been in that place where anxiety has ridden me, like just kind of like had me bound. And I realized that I wasn't able to enjoy things I used to enjoy, It was weird because, like, I hear y'all saying, like, things that used to come easy, it would be like a challenge. Like, why is this a challenge? Like, this was nothing for me before. But I think just stepping aside and being honest with myself, saying, you know what, okay, I'm feeling, a lot of pressure on myself, or I'm just feeling sad because seasons have shifted. Whatever it was, in that moment, just being honest allowed me to kind of embrace it and then let it go. Mm-hmm. Like literally, instead of letting myself go, letting whatever it was that was kind of taking me away from who I was, letting that thing go. And that's kind of where I want to shift this whole conversation. So what are some things that y'all feel like you need to let go of because it just no longer serves you? And it doesn't necessarily have to be anything negative. It can just be something where it worked in one season, but it just is not you're not getting the same benefits or enjoyment or what have you out of it anymore. And I'll say for me, this was never serving me any justice, but for me, it's learning how to let go of inhibitions. Okay, just stop thinking, get out your head and just do it. Just do whatever it is you're thinking you want to do. Do it. Have fun. Enjoy. So that's something I'm letting go of, And I mean, I say in some spaces that people, whether we want to admit it, like it can be a positive thing because sometimes inhibitions make you more cautious. Like, oh, I'm going to wait a minute. What's going on? You think about it before you're actually just leaping. And sometimes that's a safety mechanism. But, when it gets to the point where you're really hindering yourself from experiencing the best part of you or the best part of others, that's when, it's like, okay, enough is enough. So like, what have y'all noticed, in this season or maybe in your past seasons, things that you had to let go of because it just was no longer serving you?
I think for me, people pleasing.
Oh, that's good.
Like not saying that I'm like hating on people or anything, but just because you're kind, it doesn't mean you have to like try to please everybody. So I think that was a major one that I had to let go of. Like, I'm not doing this to please somebody. I'm just being myself. So, yeah.
That's good. Yeah.
And I think for me, fear and inhibitions are kind of right there next to each other. So fear is a big thing, which the element of fear for me is the perception I'm giving off or how people see it. I don't care what people think about me because there's nothing you can do about how people think and what they say. But I just want to make sure that whatever I'm giving off is clear, is concise, and is to the point. So
that's good.
That's
that's good. And that's funny because that's something I had on my list when I was thinking about this topic, letting go of what you think others think of you. Because like you said, that's something you can never control. You can, of course you want to present yourself in a way that's respectful and, caring and compassionate. But at the end of the day, people are going to perceive what they want to perceive. So it's only so much you can control.
Yeah, and it's funny because I think for me, it was late in life when that concept even made, like I even realized that people could think differently about you the way you think about yourself. I think, as a kid, it might be easier to handle because it's like, well, it's 20 more friends to choose from. But as an adult, it's like most of the time you're stuck in the space with whoever this is that's making these judgments. And it's like, oh, what now? What? So, but
that's good. Yeah. I'll also say like letting yourself go. Now, this one is a challenging one. Letting yourself go into the broken spaces of your heart or your life with compassion and courage and hope. Because, there are some areas in our life where if we could avoid it all day, we would. And even it might even be people. It may not even be just, you personally. So being able to allow yourself to just go into that space. And I like how in one episode you talked about like just kind of watching, like if you're watching something go by, like that may be how you're able to go into that space that is so painful, but it's important to go there because we know it's going to show up. So you can't avoid, certain things, and I like how you mentioned when we were talking off camera about, knowing when, okay, this is trauma. So this is where I need to talk to a trauma therapist or what have you, so that they can help me walk through this process. But again, you can't avoid brokenness. You can't avoid the hurt, pain that you've experienced. So in order to let those things go, you have to first go into those spaces, but go into it in a safe way. So, and with safe people. On a fun note, like letting yourself go into like actual physical places you've never been before. And we kind of talked about that before, like just places we might, want to visit, but then just thinking about everyday life, like where's a place that have y'all like seen or like kind of drove past somewhere and you're like, I've never noticed that before. Maybe I should go in there. I mean, I know you probably have. You're the adventurous one, but like, is there any place that, you've seen or that intrigues you or that you, maybe you want to visit? And I mean, local, it doesn't have to be, because everybody doesn't have the, resources all the time or the time to go away, but just in everyday life or, in your neighborhood or community or what have you? Are there places you would love to explore?
Yeah. Well, being that, around the midsection, I'm a little jolly. And so in one of the shopping centers around where I live, there's this place called Club Pilates. And and I, walk by down the sidewalk and I see all these machines and all these things. And I'm like, that looks so interesting. Like I'm just, the older I get, I'm trying to find more low impact type of exercise. And I've just been curious, but I just don't want to go, because when I look through the window, unless it's a concave window, everybody in there is thick thin. Like, so to go in there and
right,
yeah,
it's like,
but I would say the Club Pilates. I'm like, what makes it a club? Like, do I have to be initiated in?
Right.
Like,
right.
Okay. I can see my Pilates body in my head.
Okay, that's where it starts. Okay, visualization.
Well, I think mine is probably weird. Like, I don't even know. And maybe somebody does this and they can help me to get into it, or, But old houses that have like trees growing out of the windows and stuff. I want to know like who lived there. Like, what was that house? Like, what, I'm so intrigued by that. So whenever we see him, I'm always pointing him out, and he's always like, so you're going to just every one of them, you're going to show me. But I just think it's amazing. Like sometimes it could be like right off a main road. So, it has to be a newer road, because why is that house just abandoned out there? Like, So, but I don't know. I love seeing wherever we go, anywhere I go, I'm finding those houses. And I want to know like, I wish there was an app for that.
She had me until she said the trees and stuff were going out.
I'm talking about the ones that are like abandoned.
Wow. Because interesting stories behind that.
Sure. Like, why did they just leave the whole thing and never come back?
Right. Why is it still standing if nobody's going to come back? It's pretty cool though.
And I was like, I told him I like the houses that are like, you can see the paint chipping, and I don't know, they look like a pink undertone. He said that
means the paint has lead in it.
Yeah, that's what he said. That's lead,
we don't want to go near those.
So, but I think they look so pretty. I don't know. Yeah.
Okay. Well, now that you know.
Yes.
Okay.
So if anybody knows, interesting facts about that, send them my way.
That's pretty cool. Well, that just made me think. I guess I have a similar interest. I love to go to old buildings or places, but that are still,
lights on and
still
electricity
occupied.
and water running.
That, yes. But like we went to Savannah a few weeks ago, and I loved how there in their downtown, the historical homes, they're so beautiful to me. So to me, that's something I
my
like.
area. I can take you on a tour. They have mansions.
Oh yes, let's do that.
Like I didn't 8 minutes from my house.
Oh wow. Okay.
Ones
let's do that.
That have trees growing out of them.
Unfortunately, I'm sorry.
I mean, you might have to probably go to the other side of her town for that. Right? Maybe.
I bet I find it.
Let's go to Pungo.
I bet I find it.
Let's go to Pungo. But so that's my place. Okay, I love historical buildings because to me the architecture is so unique and just different. You don't see stuff like that anymore. But finally, I think that something that's very important is letting yourself go meet the you that you've always wanted to be. So who would y'all want to be? I mean, who it's in there. You are her, but you know, some things might be holding her down. You know, who do you feel like, you know, Tam is truly, who's, you know, who is she? Who's that girl?
I think I'm truly myself. I got so many personalities.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, I don't think there's something that, you know, for me to sit and say that I'm gonna let myself loose so I can be the person I know.
Okay. Well, that's good.
I just
You are one with
come
you.
on.
You are
I
one with
will,
you.
you know, I will
Yes.
at the drop of a dime, I'll make up a song about anything.
Yes.
So
This is true. Okay.
no,
That's
I
a
don't-
blessing. I know that that's a blessing. 'Cause
Okay.
Some people have not, you know, arrived to that stage yet.
Okay.
So, okay. Lovely. What about you?
Repeat the question.
God. I said, letting go of the you, letting go and letting the you, basically, that you fully want to be. Meeting the you that
Okay,
you
so
fully
I
want to be.
think 10 years ago, the answer probably would have been like more like I wanted to do more things. But the me today is like, if I want to do it, I'm just doing it. Yeah.
Okay.
So
Oh, that's
yeah,
good. Oh,
I
that's
think I
good.
don't feel like there's anything like undone. You know, there's always room for
Right.
finding. You know,
Right, yeah,
tomorrow it might be something
yeah,
different. But
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think for me, just like I kind of said before, just being a little more free to try new things outside of my typical norm and not caring what the results are, because I think I'm a very task-oriented person and that perfectionism gets in the way. So just being able to just loosen up and enjoy just being in the moment without worrying about anything else. So yeah. Well, that's all I have for y'all. Thank y'all. And you know, you gotta just remember that life is too short to be holding on to anything that, you know, is hindering you from truly enjoying who you are and the people around you that love you. So let it go. So don't let go of yourself, but let go of all the stuff that's causing yourself to disappear. Yeah. Remember to guard your heart with all diligence, for out of it flows the issues of life.
Hi everyone, welcome to the Nerds Corner. Come on over, get nice and comfy and snuggly and get ready for the ride. No, it's not gonna be. It's good. It's good. So I want to open my segment with a quote from Oscar Wilde. That quote is, "Be yourself. Everyone else is already taken."
Amen.
So I read an article in Seattle Times, and the title of that article was, "When letting go of yourself," in quotes, "might actually be good for your health." Okay, so I'm gonna switch it. Like we all had our own little kind of tweak on the subject, so this is where I'm going with it. So the author in this article interviewed some women, right, and asked them to define letting yourself go. What does that mean to them? And majority of them responded by saying the fear that other people will think they've stopped caring about the way they look and or packed on pounds. So their answer wasn't like the answer that I gave when you asked the question, like, you know, what do I see or think about myself as what, you know, letting go. Okay. So there is an idea that someone is not thin to social standards or working to be thin, then they don't care about themselves or their health. That's so false. Like that is just so false. And I really wish that would not be the norm, like a societal type of norm. So interesting points I have. So someone could be living a good life, fulfilling life, eating nourishing food, and in a nurturing relationships, and living their best life, but society may see them as giving up on themselves because they stopped trying to control the number on the scale. You know, or they may choose to dress comfortably or allow their hair to go gray. You know, you could be in your mid-40s and you got a little gray, and society may frown at you like, "Oh, she's getting old," because you got a little gray. Whereas you may have been thin, or you keep your hair nice and in order and manicure, and you're a stylish person who, you know, you could be dying on the inside, emotionally and physically. But if you don't fit that societal norm, then you're letting yourself go or you're losing yourself. Opting out of society appearances, kind of like the standards. Like why? I don't know. I just feel like, why does it have such a strong hold on women in particular? I don't feel like it's a thing for men. I think it's almost kind of funny, like like satire for men. Like it's not a big thing for a man to kind of, what they say, let themselves go, because I don't know. I guess women are just scrutinized more, I guess. I don't know. So also in this article, she asked middle-aged women that were kind of approaching or thinking about retiring. And she says, what are you looking forward to in retirement? And a lot of them said that they want to retire so that they do not have to wear makeup anymore and look put together or put themselves together, and I'm like, that's sad. Like, if somebody asked me what I was looking forward to when I retire, doing whatever I want. If I want to go outside with 2 separate shoes on or no shoes on at all, that's what I want to do in my retirement. But to hear women say, so they don't have to make themselves up to go out or to present themselves, that's a little sad to me. It's a little sad. But I want those who feel that way to remember this. Letting go of people's expectations about how you eat, move, and live is not the same as letting yourself go. Like, it's just not. Freeing yourself by showing up for yourself is a more authentic way you may become more of yourself. And I think you asked that in your segment, like towards the end, that question that you asked. So are you following these basic aspects of self-care? So these are some things that I feel like should be your self norms. And if you find yourself slipping on these things or you're not doing them, then we need to worry about putting you in that box of letting yourself go. So the first one is feeding yourself regular foods that are appealing, that provide nutrition and feels good in your body. Like, that's what I feel like everyone should be doing. Moving your body in ways that feel good to you. Like, everybody can't go in the gym and get on the treadmill or run 5 miles or lift weights. And everybody, that don't appeal to everybody, especially me. Like, and then you have those people that may have ailments that they can't perform at such high impact. So it's okay. Like, just find something that helps you move your body in a way that makes you feel good. Getting enough sleep, not too much and not too little, but sleep is so important. Like, when you sleep, all the cells in your body are rejuvenating themselves. Like, you burn calories when you sleep, resting when you need to rest. Now, that's different than getting enough sleep, but resting when you need to rest. Like, you ever had to do something, you're like, oh God, I don't feel like doing this, but let me go ahead and do it. That's your body telling you, you need to rest. And it's okay. Prime example, I had to bake some cakes on Friday. Didn't feel like doing it. I had went out and had a early lunch, and it was big and I was full, and I'm just like, okay, I'm just going to sit here for an hour, then I'm going to get up and start baking. And I got up and I still didn't feel like getting up, but I was like, okay. Well, my recipe called for a half a teaspoon of salt, but I put a whole teaspoon of salt in the cake. And I'm just like, oh God, is this going to throw it off? And so I worried. So So I need to listen to my own words by, when you need to rest, rest. My next point is setting and maintaining boundaries, whether it be at work, whether it be with the children, whether it be with your spouse, a family member, your pet, whatever. Set boundaries. Time, like, set boundaries on time. My next point is engaging in activities and relationships that feed you. Weed out those relationships and activities that serves no purpose, that you have to wonder, why am I friends with this person? Why are we going out to lunch? Why am I reading this book? So weed out those things. My next one, keeping up with preventative and follow-up healthcare. please do your yearly exams, any tests or anything, you know, and keep a close eye on your body. Like, your body speaks to you. If anything is off kill, go to the doctor. Just go to the doctor. And doing basic grooming, like bathe, you know, moisturize your skin, you know, because the skin will crack, you know, just keep it nice and moist and greased. Okay. But if you answered yes to any of those points that I provided, you're fine. Like, you are fine. Don't worry about losing yourself. But if you answered no, then that may suggest a type of letting yourself go, which could be a self-imbalance due to depression or grief or hopelessness. It's not about how you look, it's about how you feel. And so even if you answered some no's to those questions, you know, that's when you got to say to yourself, okay, well, why? And if so, let me go talk to someone. It's okay. So the two of you, out of the questions, that any of the ones or points that I brought up, do you feel yourself kind of losing grasp on any of those, or do you try to implement them on the regular?
Definitely the moving more, like moving in a way that's comfortable. That needs to be a more consistent thing in my days. And then the first one was kind of, can you reread that? Because I feel like
feeding yourself regularly with food that is appealing, provides nourishment, and feels good in your body.
Yeah. And see, that could be very subjective, because some of us, what's appealing is not necessarily nutritious. So I think that I need a little more balance on, because with life being busy and just tired and doing all the things, it doesn't take long to convince me to go stop and grab something quick or whatever, which is not healthy to do that all the time. So, or, you know, more so than you're sitting down eating home cooked meals. So yeah, I think that one I need to work on.
Well, yeah, you say it could be subjective, and I do agree, but also home cooked meals could be bad for you.
Right. Well, when I say home cooked, I mean like not greasy, fat, you know, I mean nutritional home cooked meals. Yeah.
What say you?
I was doing pretty good till you got to the last one. I do take a shower every day.
Okay.
The lotion.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm that girl in the family and in the friend group.
Well, all I can say is once menopause hit, you will take a different aspect on that, because everything dries up and it hurts. It's gonna get cracky, and you're gonna have to. Says cameraman. But you're going to have to, you know, And even if to combat that, so is it you don't like the feeling of it, or
it's a time management thing for me?
Okay, well then there are some. Well, I'll actually give you the name of a shower gel that I use that has like emollients and oil, like vitamin E and all that in it, so that, and it makes your skin all glowy, that you don't have to really put a lot of oil and, you know, things on after you get out the shower. So I'll share that with you. Even if you get a shower oil and just put it on, you know, right before you get out the shower, and that will help combat. Or even spray, like Aveeno has a spray body oil moisturizer, and you don't even have to rub it to spray. It's a light mist, and just pat and go. So I see it's a time thing, more of a time thing.
Yeah. Okay. See, I like smell goods. So that just kind of encourages. Yeah. No, I'm sorry. So that kind of just makes putting lotion on so fun for me. You know.
Yeah, it's not fun at all.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Yeah.
So is that the only one out of the bullet points?
Yeah, everything else I'm about 3/4 credit on.
Okay.
3/4 credit.
Yeah, I think I got.
What about you?
Well, for me, I would have to agree with you with the move my body in ways that makes me feel good. Like I was saying with the Pilates, I'm trying to find less impactful ways of moving, because I have shin splints from band camp. Thanks a lot. So trying to find something that works and I don't feel so much in pain after I do it.
Mhm.
That's kind of what I'm doing. And the other one, like I spoke about the cake, rest when I need to rest.
Mhm.
I
that's a good
do
one.
fairly okay with sleeping, but rest when I need to
Yeah.
rest. Anytime you do something, you sit and you're like, oh, okay, let me get up. Or I'm just going to sit here for 5 minutes. That's your body. That's
Mhm.
not you being lazy.
Right.
That's your body literally speaking to you.
Mhm.
Like, look, we
Mhm.
tired.
Need some downtime. Yeah.
We need to just,
Yeah.
no, we don't need 5 minutes.
Right.
We need 2 hours. And if
Mhm.
that's okay, that's okay.
Yeah.
So those
Yeah.
would be the two
I need
things
to
for
work
me.
on that too.
Yeah. So that's
Mhm.
pretty much what, I had about, oh God, the peanut gallery. Yes.
I just want to know who were you baking those cakes for?
So my husband's family had a gathering, and it was a request of my sweet mother-in-law that I bake a lemon cake and a strawberry cake for the festivities.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
To know.
Any more questions?
Because I was going to ask you what time, but you answered that for me. Thank you.
Look at me being proactive.
Oh my God. Bless your heart.
But that's all I have for the Nerd's Corner today.
Thank you. Very informative as
Yes.
always.
Mm-hmm. Thank you for joining us for another episode of Here With Us 3.
And remember, healing is a process, so take it one day at a time.
And remember that you can contact us across all social media platforms, all of them. I'm not even going to name them all because I'm pretty sure everybody knows them. So all of them. But I will mention our email, and that's healwithus3@gmail.com. Any questions, show ideas, sponsors, anything, just email us. Let us know. We'll get in contact with you. But thank you for all the fans and comments and everything. We see them. We respond to them. At least I try. And yeah.
Heal with us.
Heal with